filed false police reports. She's
Honestly, going to make the streams look a little better, and with an actual computer that helped me set up more of the things and edit, it's going to cause a lot more easier for the my stuff.
Lost my family's land was the
because graphics,
the entire valley. Linda Whitmore called the cops on my illegal cabin at 7 a.m.
I got to fix up the graphics on my streams as well because it's so bad graphics on my videos. She had
no idea that I didn't just own the land.
And if I can get that computer,
her husband's business lease, and the road she drove on. 3 months of escalating harassment, noise complaints when I was dead asleep, structure violations on a cabin that existed before she was born, threatening letters demanding $500.
I already got someone making me a VTuber model.
Randon fought the fines on her.
I already got someone make my VTuber model.
By the time I was done, she'd be
I just now gotta get a computer that will work well, because my Chromebook, I can watch TV on it, but I fried its graphics, so I can't use like large editing stuff on that Chromebook.
I want to know if HOA Karens are this bad everywhere. Let me take you back to where this all started. My grandfather bought 2,400 acres.
Because I can hook the PC up to my PlayStation up to the PC.
$800.
I know that.
$800. That's what a decent dinner costs.
Because I have a lot of Steam stuff.
Rights, mineral rights, water rights, the whole enchilada. Smart old coot knew what he was doing. I inherited this land when I was 28, right after my parents died in a car accident. Spent every summer here as a kid, learning carpentry from Grandpa, building this A-frame cabin with my own hands.
What?
1,200 square feet of pure independence. Solar panels, well water, composting toilet, completely off-grid and legal in every
I'm gonna land over here.
After burning out in corporate software consulting,
I'm gonna land for the monolith and then go rush the one over here after I go grab this little one.
Politics. Just me, the mountains, and the sound of wind.
Okay, be careful.
But gentrification was creeping up the valley like a slow-mixing avalanche. California money buying up plots, building McMansions that looked like they belonged in Beverly Hills, not Big Sky country. The newest eyesore was Clearwater.
You know that video I had to edit a lot because of the songs?
From $800,000 to $2 million, managed by Whitmore Properties. Enter Linda Whitmore. Picture this. 52 years old, bleach blonde hair sprayed into a helmet, driving a white Escalade that probably cost...
I didn't have to edit the video.
She was HOA president and the real estate developer.
I didn't get copyright for anything, so I feel happy I don't gotta worry about that now.
My property tripled it out with her existing property. The first move was subtle. A certified letter claiming my cabin violates legal standards and demanding $500.
Killing these things with Outlaw, all these guards with Outlaw is pretty easy. That's where you gotta focus on your critical spot.
She showed up at my door for the first inspection.
I didn't get no copyright on the video. I got past that time. The marching anthem I've always had on my videos, and Fortnite's never copyrighted me for the marching anthem because I don't have the full theme song playing. Okay.
This structure is completely inappropriate for community standards, she announced.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! 2 idiots waiting until I killed the little monolith and killed me. How'd you die?
1995. Your community didn't exist until 2018.
I just died.
Confirmed what I already knew. My land wasn't technically part of her HOA. Grandpa's deed predated her development by 40 years, so Linda pivoted strategies. If she couldn't use HOA rules, she'd find any violation to force a sale.
You killed right.
Codes, health department,
yeah, you see mine?
Marshal, she was going to throw everything at me until something stuck. The smell of her cigarettes from
I shot out of the air
mixed with the pine scent
because I lit sound boost and I was about to run.
Plotting my downfall. She had no idea that every threat, every complaint, every legal maneuver was just digging her hole deeper. You can't fight progress, she said with that fake smile real estate agents perfect in the mirror. This valley is going to be developed whether you like it or not. I watched her drive away, her white Escalade kicking up dust on the gravel road my grandfather had built with his own hands. The sound of her engine faded into the distance.
Still laptop.
Wind through pine needles, and
but this one's able to connect to my PlayStation.
What Linda didn't know, what she couldn't possibly know, was that she'd just declared war on the wrong family. Grandpa hadn't just bought land, he'd bought power. And I was about to learn exactly how much power that was. Linda's first real shot across the bow came 2 weeks later. An anonymous tip to the county inspector about an unpermitted structure.
Yeah, I'm slowly but surely getting handle of stuff.
Inspector Jake Morrison showed up on a Tuesday morning. Apologetic but professional. Good old boy with calloused hands and work boots that had seen actual work. Sorry about this, son.
Oh, we could do this. We could do this one, because I can land here.
No problem, Jake. Come on in.
Because the monolith is at the Dark Vader.
Jake's flashlight beam danced across hand-fitted joints.
Is that location always going to be called the Vader location?
Survive a tornado. His eyebrows.
Is that always going to be the Dark Vader location?
Hell, son. This place is built better than most houses in town.
Is that its nickname?
My grandfather and I took us 3 summers. Jake pulled out the original.
Welcome to the stream.
1995, signed and stamped by his predecessor.
I'm gonna land at my monoliths like usual. The little monoliths, and then go for the big one.
Whoever called this in was either blind or
I'm just getting warmed up for the day.
Making notes on his clipboard. But Linda wasn't done. The smell of her cigarettes lingered in the mountain air the next morning when I found her business card tucked under my
I've been on all morning.
On the back, she'd written, State Environmental Agency complaint filed. Illegal sewage disposal. You're done. He was escalating to state level, trying to.
It's Sammy Lawrence, not Bendy.
Time for my counterpunch. I called my college buddy Marcus.
There's a difference. Sammy Lawrence is a worshipper. Bendy is a dean.
Exactly this kind of harassment. Bring in a professional.
And I just got crypto. Wait, can I just like kill the boss like this?
I knew everything. Septic inspection happened at 6 a.m. sharp. The rumble of the pump truck echoing across the valley told about every neighbor. Professional analysis proved my system was clean for the next moment. 30 years.
Oh! Geez, this is a good loophole.
Whoever complained about this, about shit, was hardly expressive. Here's where it got interesting. Bob mentioned something that made my morning coffee feel a lot better. Only thing is, I got another call about Greywater's discharge into Clearwater Creek. Traced it back to that new development up the road.
Yeah, I just got a good loot pull. I got the sound gloves, a blue. I got your blue rifle already. You usually use for a marksman.
The irony was so thick you could cut it with a chisel.
And I got my blue sniper kind of rifle and kill shot revolvers.
Marcus nearly choked on his coffee when I called him.
And I'm still in battle phase.
If your septic system was
I better switch back if I do anything.
Grandfathered in under most state regulations, Marcus explained. Linda was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Jake Morrison stopped by later that week, ostensibly to deliver the official inspection report. Clean bill of health, system exceeds all requirements, but he
someone's already fighting the monoliths over here.
Of coffee and sharing what was really on his mind. 23 years I've been doing this.
Try to, there's a zip line over that way where you're heading.
Carrying his words across
right here, zip line.
Seen a lot of developers come and go, but I've never seen someone file this many bogus complaints in such a short time. You're the 3rd property owner she's targeted.
They are really after that boss,
That's when I realized this wasn't just about my cabin. This was about keeping corporate greed from destroying the last wild place my family had.
They haven't done a single damage to him. They got him mad, but didn't do a single amount of damage. Talk about unskilled players.
Valley as I cut deadfall for winter firewood, a deliberate show of defiance. I felt like a promise to Grandpa that I really like to learn. But this was just round 1. Linda's environmental backfire, tactics, and I could already see her white part of various
I'm being shot by people. God, you kidding me? They're both waiting until someone does the damage for them. Stupid gay players. Right here on the side part where I'm dead, they're looting my body.
What she didn't know was that every attack just gave me more evidence of her pattern of harassment. I was starting to build a case that would make her previously.
Run. Just run.
Linda's next cell came to the fire. Apparently my dangerous wood stove installation was now a threat to public safety. woman had more angles than she expected. Fireworks of Betty Chen arrived with full inspection of the ready. They were expecting to find a meth lab instead of a wood stove. Betty was all business, former military by the look of her posture, and not even impressed by any bullshit. Show me what you've got, she said simply.
Do you want to mean unskilled players?
Showcase quality work. Copper pipes gleaming like
Super.
pennies. Proper clearances that exceeded code by 6 inches. Top grade materials that cost.
They waited until I'd done at least like a quarter of the health with my kill shot and then killed me.
Measured clearances, tested airflow. Mind if we use these photos for training materials? Betty asked. This is textbook installation. Better than most professional jobs I see. But Linda wasn't done escalating. She filed a complaint with the State Department of Natural Resources, claiming I was running a commercial...
Down, cats. No.
...without permit.
No.
The absurdity would have been hilarious if it wasn't so malicious.
On the PlayStation again.
I cut deadfall for personal firewood. Completely legal. Like picking up sticks in your backyard. DNR agent Tom Rodriguez had to drive 2 hours from Helena just to explain to Linda that landowners can...
They looted my body for all my guns.
Ma'am, this is the 5th time you've called this month, Tom confided during his inspection. He was clearly annoyed.
Can't believe that.
Wearing thinner than tissue paper. Mr. Johnson here is within his rights. In fact, removing deadfall actually improves forest health. While Linda was wasting state resources on bogus complaints, I started digging into her business practices. What I found made my morning coffee taste like victory. Whitmore Properties LLC had some interesting financial arrangements. Linda was claiming development...
Oh, I gotta move that. It's gonna copyright me.
While never mentioning her dual role as HR...
Someone was doing Metallica.
Conflict of interest, potentially fraudulent. She was double dipping, getting paid to sell lots, and then getting paid again to...
Actually, he's right here, so the boss is there.
Most people don't realize that HOA board members have to disclose financial interests in any deals involving the community, my lawyer friend Marcus explained when I called him with my findings.
What?
Linda was about to learn why these rules exist. That's when the community started rallying around me. Old Pete,
let's go down to this location, Super.
Confirmed that Linda had been
get plenty of kills off the bat.
Offered me half what my land's worth, then threatened eminent domain when I said no. He growled, his weathered hands clenched around a coffee mug at Maria's diner. Maria Santos, who owned the local diner and had fed 3 generations of Valley residents, shared her own Linda of horror stories. The bitter taste of her strong coffee matched the bitter taste Linda was leaving in everyone's mouth. She's been spreading rumors about health code violations at our place. 30 years in business, never had a single complaint until she showed up. Maybe Kim was the real surprise.
I got ripe green pistol.
Linda's development.
Doesn't matter, because pistols are kind of good in this game.
Turns out he'd been overcharged by $50,000 for his lot.
I like first pistol.
Consultation fees.
I'm
The
used
sound
to.
of my chainsaw echoing across the valley became a daily ritual, cutting firewood with deliberate precision. Each log split with a satisfying crack that seemed to announce my intentions to the whole valley. The scent of sawdust mixed with engine oil in Old Pete's workshop, where we started planning our response. You know what really gets me? He said, running his thumb along the edge of a well-worn axe blade. She comes in here from California with her fancy car and fake smile, thinking she can push around families who've been here for generations.
They're fighting the boss right now.
Maria nodded, wiping down the counter with the kind of precision that comes from decades of practice. My grandfather built this diner in 1952. Bedlockers, ranchers, people who worked with their hands.
They're actually trying to kill him.
Turn this whole valley into some kind of theme park for rich people.
Got a rifle.
But Linda's harassment campaign was far from
good accuracy rifle.
I could see her white Escalade parked outside the county courthouse like that reason. No doubt
behind me.
The woman had more persistence than a telemarketer and twice the moral flexibility. What she didn't realize was that every government agency she called,
I got a ball on that shot.
Every threat she made was created at eventually buried. I was documenting everything.
He shot me with a shotgun from a distance.
Previous harassment.
I was spraying him down with the SMG.
The evening air carried the scent of wood smoke from my chimney, mixing
so
with the
they are already killing the boss. I was trying to get a gun, but I got shotgun straight off.
Plotting her next move. But now
so cars either.
Evidence, and a growing understanding that this fight was about more than just my cabin. This was about stopping a pattern of abuse that had been going on.
Well, you just gonna find a reboot truck?
Linda's harassment campaign reached a new level of desperation over the next month. Daily wellness checks from the sheriff's department became my new normal. Bogus noise complaints when my cabin was
Yeah, the boss has been killed.
She even called Child Protective Services, claiming my unfit living conditions were endangering children, despite the fact that I lived alone and the nearest kid was 5 miles away. The breaking point came at 11 p.m.
I'll keep the sound boost gloves.
Deputy Johnson's cruiser came rumbling up my gravel driveway, red and blue lights cutting through the darkness like angry fireflies. The crunch of his boots on frost-covered ground announced another bogus call. Domestic disturbance report, he said, clearly embarrassed. Sorry, but I have to check. I stood there in my pajamas and bare feet, cabin dark behind me, no other soul within miles. Deputy, do I look like I'm disturbing anyone but myself right now? He sighed, making notes he probably wouldn't file. I'm getting 2 to 3 calls per week, all from the same number. Between you and me, this is harassment, plain and simple. Linda escalated to the legal system, filing for an emergency injunction, claiming my threatening behavior at an HOA meeting I never attended. Small claims court on a Thursday morning. Linda arrived with an expensive lawyer in a suit that probably cost more than my truck.
What?
I represented myself with a manila folder. And the truth, the judge, a no-nonsense woman named Patricia Wells, was about as impressed with Linda's theatrics as I was. Your Honor, Linda's lawyer began, my client fears for her safety due to Mr. Johnson's increasingly erratic behavior. I stood up, pulled out my phone, and projected security camera footage onto the courtroom wall. Date and timestamps clearly showing I wasn't anywhere near the supposed meeting where I'd allegedly threatened her. Judge Wells dismissed the case in under 5 minutes. Ms. Whitmore, I'm warning you about filing frivolous complaints. This court has better things to do. Time to bring in professional help. I hired private investigator Sarah Chen, no relation to the fire marshal, but equally no nonsense. What she found made Linda's harassment look like amateur hour. Your Linda has a pattern, Sarah reported over coffee at Maria's diner. The PI's findings
Can I be rebooted back, please?
Table like evidence in a murder case. She's done this exact thing in 3 other communities, always targets landowners adjacent to potential developments. The pattern was crystal clear. Linda had been sued twice.
Kind of blend into the reboot van, not lying.
Her real estate license was suspended in California for undisclosed dual representation. Most damning of all, she owed $180,000, 0 cents.
There we go, I have my chat available.
Here's a tip for anyone dealing with HOA harassment.
There we go.
Document everything with timestamps, Sarah advised, tapping her pen.
Wait, what?
Folder of evidence. Those
Same people?
Crucial evidence when you need to prove a pattern of abuse. The community was rallying like I'd never seen. Old Pete revealed that Linda had tried to buy his land for half market value, threatening eminent domain when he refused. Linda told me the government would take it anyway if I didn't sell to her. Pure intimidation. Maria shared that Linda had been spreading rumors about health code violations at the diner, trying to crush her from selling the building. 30 years feeding this community.
Not reload.
Turn my place into a Starbucks? David Kim
could you even, how did they even see me?
With Linda pocketing the difference through hidden fees.
But I was hiding behind a wall, how do you see me?
Location adjustments. I called them theft. The sound of gravel crunching under tires.
That's wall hacks when I see them.
Every time another sheriff's cruiser rolled up for another bogus call, I document the time, take photos, record conversations. My evidence folder was getting thicker than a phone book. Linda's smug expression in the courthouse hallway after her failed injunction attempt was captured perfectly.
I had to reload, that's the thing, I couldn't spam them down. I didn't even get a shotgun. I got my outlaw, but it wasn't reloaded. None of my guns were reloaded.
The texture grounding me while I planned my next moves. The tree had weathered storms for decades, just like my family's hold on this land would weather Linda's assault. But Linda wasn't done. Her financial desperation was making her bolder, more reckless. The woman was doubling down on a losing hand, and I could practically smell the fear sweat through her expensive perfume during our chance encounters at the post office.
Excuse you.
What she didn't know was that every escalation, every false complaint, every desperate legal maneuver was just adding evidence to a case that would eventually destroy her. I was playing the long game, and Linda was too panicked to
I'm about to start just heading for the mini monolith so I can go grab me a kill shot revolvers.
Peaceful sounds of wind through the trees, replacing the chaos of Linda's harassment. But I knew this was just the calm.
Oh, there's a giant one there.
Because I was about to discover something that would change everything. The game-changing discovery came while I was researching county records for my defense against Linda's latest bogus lawsuit. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. I was looking for ammunition to defend myself, and instead...
And then I'm gonna move in over to here.
Buried in the maze of
I'm gonna move over there.
I stumbled across something massive. Linda's development company.
I just want to quickly kill a little monolith so I can grab a couple weapons.
0% construction loan in 2019. Standard stuff for a developer.
Not the only.
But the collateral wasn't just her own land. It was a complex web that
snipe me.
future development rights across the entire valley. That's when I started digging deeper. My grandfather hadn't just owned these 2,000 acres. The old records revealed something that made my coffee cup green absolutely. These owned the mineral rights to most of the valley, including the entire development. But that
I kinda can't.
the shocking part is what else I found.
Hi, Super. I'm kinda fighting something.
Three key properties that Linda had been using to leverage this construction loan.
Laser.
Free and clear when applying for financing. How had this been hidden for so long? Grandpa's estate was complex, managed by an old-school attorney who died in 1982. The new estate lawyer never fully explained the scope of my inheritance. County records were scattered across multiple filing systems.
I'm handling a little monolith right now.
I spent 18 hours in the county records office, my eyes burning from reading microfilm.
Oh, direct point blank.
What I discovered was worth every minute.
And that's the first pistols I needed.
Grandpa's 1963 purchase
First
included
pistol.
all rights, appurtenances, and future development
Can I?
considerations. Legal
Nope,
language from the
nope,
1009
not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. No, I just got the monolith loot. Hey, how do you get over here?
During her harassment campaign against me, the bank was getting nervous about her ability to complete Phase 2, which required my land to be financially viable. When I
Bull! How do you teleport?
the original attorney, he confirmed my reading of the documents. Your grandfather
Bro just teleported.
realized, he said over the phone. He specifically designed this structure to prevent exactly what Ms. Whitmore is attempting. That's when
I'm about to just go to creative.
Inside the original deed.
I'm starting to get annoyed.
Grandpa's careful script on yellow.
I'm about to go to creative here soon if I keep this up, because I can't even do anything. I killed monoliths, 2 stream snipers, and 1 hacker.
That note and finally understood. This wasn't just
How is this a fair game if we're just getting stream sniped repeatedly?
Someday, someone like Linda would come along and he
Every round.
Despite 60 years.
I can't get enough.
Most people think property ownership is simple. You buy land, you own it. I said to myself, reading through the implications. But mineral rights, water rights, and development rights can be separate. You're
getting annoyed.
Smarter than you realized. Linda had no idea.
Can you? Are you super?
Her harassment campaign, her legal threats, her attempts to force me off my land, all of it was built on the false assumption
I can't do my strategy anymore.
I didn't. The question now was strategy. I could deliver a quick knockout punch, revealing everything immediately and watching her empire crumble. Or I could let her dig her hole deeper while building an absolutely bulletproof case.
Yeah.
I decided on the latter. Let Linda escalate her attacks while I quietly gathered allies and evidence. When the truth finally
Like, we're trying to just go regular matches and we can't even get enough of stream snipers.
As I drove home, windows
I gotta move.
filling
That is Billie Eilish.
I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Complete confidence. The hunted had become the hunter, and Linda Whitmore had no idea what was coming. Time to ascend.
Land on the mountain.
This wasn't a one-man operation.
I'll land there.
Anymore. Linda's
Or you'll land here.
had hurt too many
Together.
people, and it was time for coordinated justice.
At least I have my Tune Meow School song that doesn't copyright me, because it's by Fortnite.
Then Maria's nephew Carlos.
I like listening to this song.
Specialized in tracking dirty money through shell companies or community support. Old Pete, Maria, David, Kim.
You have those on.
Neighbors who've been harassed by Linda's schemes. The strategy session happened at Maria's diner after closing time. Coffee brewing, pie cooling on the counter, legal documents spread across tables where 3 generations of locals had made important decisions.
How much people are there here?
The surface had absorbed decades of conversations, and tonight it would witness the planning of Linda's downfall. Phase 1, Marcus explained, drawing diagrams on napkins. Let Linda escalate while we build ironclad documentation. Phase 2, reveal just enough to make her desperate.
I have an issue.
Phase 3, public confrontation, full evidence, and media.
Combat mode active.
Legal maneuvers began immediately, filing a quiet title action to clarify my comprehensive management. This would force Linda to respond in court, revealing her legal position. Environmental impact study request for Linda's Phase 2 expansion, knowing I had veto power. Formal complaint to the State Real Estate Board about Linda's undisclosed conflict of interest. Carlos' forensic investigation revealed the scope of Linda's financial affairs. She'd been using HOAs She'd double mortgaged her own property for her own development. Most of it, her construction costs and liens from unpaid subcontractors totaling over $300,000. Zero net. In most Western states, mineral rights can be sold separately from surface rights. Always check your deeds language carefully. Then you might own more than you community organizing sessions. Weekly coffee meetings at Maria's became strategy sessions. We established a shared legal process. Most importantly, we plan to attend the next HOA meeting to ensure Linda wouldn't be able to include my cabin became evidence security cameras at every spot, professional graded audio recording equipment of all future interviews. I hired a professional surveyor to do detailed maps concerning the property. Every conversation, every threat, every bogus complaint was documented with security. HOA board members who crossed through rules and all the closed
No way. I'm good. I killed the boss. And the perfect gun I needed.
This legal procedure forces everyone claiming rights to your property to prove their case in court. It's like clearing the air officially.
I got my outlaw.
And when she does,
boss has been slain.
House of Cards gets examined under oath.
Where are you
I
at?
myself visiting Grandpa's grave more often during his planning.
Do I need to come over there to you now?
Protect the valley be preserved. The granite headstone was simple, weathered by mountain storms, but the man's legacy was more complex than I'd ever imagined. This fight wasn't just about property.
Alright, can you close your screen down, like, to a small screen so they can't see mine, what I'm doing, my location, stuff? Because I don't feel like being hunted down for little.
The quiet determination of people who've been pushed too far and were finally pushing back.
Trying to find, like, should I try for your reboot?
Slowing down as she tried to peer through the windows. She knew something was happening, but couldn't figure out what. Her increasingly frantic behavior, calling county offices daily, showing up at city council meetings to complain about troublemakers, just added to her evidence file. The plan for the climax was elegant in its simplicity.
Good.
Linda's annual HOA meeting was mandatory for all residents, the perfect venue for a public revelation with witnesses and potential media coverage. She'd present her Phase 2 expansion proposal, expecting easy approval from intimidated residents. Instead, she faced a united community.
They're fighting. I can get a quick reboot hit off.
And the truth about her.
I can reboot you real fast.
The setting would be the community center, neutral ground with media access. Sheriff's
There's an A-ring just right behind me.
Disruption. As I sat on my cabin porch that evening, watching the sun set over the valley Linda wanted to destroy, I felt something I hadn't experienced since.
There's those 2 pistols.
Anticipation. The hunted had become the hunter. The trap was set, and Linda whistled without being afraid. The air carried the eternal scent of time.
What? Nope. Super, get in! Get in! Get in! You gotta move! Batman's in a car!
Anonymous Craigslist ads appeared offering my abandoned cabin.
He left! Where's the gun?
Fake social media.
Look at my health!
My address as a squatter location where people could camp for free. She even hired a private security company to patrol around my property line.
I need to get like sound boost or something. It's this one.
Panels were mysteriously damaged. Security
I need take these half pots, super. I got chug.
My driveway was blocked.
Drink up a lot of
trespassing signs that I
No, we don't got a chance.
Most seriously, someone had tampered with my water well cover, potentially contaminating my drinking water. Every incident was documented. Photos, video, timestamps, details. The security system I upgraded captured everything in high-definition clarity. Motion sensors, night vision cameras, audio recording. My cabin was now better protected than But Linda's financial desperation was the real story. Bank notices started arriving at
No, super. Run!
$2,300,000 construction loan.
Ow!
Subcontractors were filing mechanics liens faster than she could contest them. Her entire empire was collapsing. The bribery attempt came on a Tuesday morning. Linda approached me directly, her usual arrogance replaced by barely concealed panic. The overwhelming scent of her perfume couldn't quite mask the fear sweat. Let's be reasonable here, she said, her voice pitched higher than usual.
I'm down.
I'm prepared to make you
No, I'm going back to squads.
$400,000 cash for your cabin.
I'm done with duos.
When I politely declined, she increased to $600,000, 0 cents. Then $800,000, 0 cents. Her final offer made my morning.
I couldn't even run. They trailed us so hard.
$200,000, 0 cents. Plus assumption of all legal fees. I appreciate the offers, Linda, I said, audio recorder capturing every word. But this land isn't for sale at any price. My counteroffer was calculated to drive her over the edge. Tell you what, though. You can purchase my approval for Phase 2 development for $5 million. Cash only. Her face cycled through confusion, rage, and terror in about 3 seconds. What the hell are you talking about? You can't block development. You're just a squatter with delusions of grandeur. I wonder what your investors would think if they knew about your financial situation, I mused, watching her pupils dilate with panic.
I'm waiting for the Dead Mouse concert to come.
Other residents discovered Linda had been
waiting for the Dead Mouse
budgets to fund her personal legal battles.
We got Omega. We got brand new Omega.
Linda had never mentioned when he bought his lot. Old Pete's property.
We got a brand new remake of Omega.
After he refused her lowball offers.
We made Omega into a new skin.
Linda's PR campaign became increasingly.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Facebook posts about dangerous squatters threatening neighborhoods.
Yeah, the OG Omega skin from Chapter 1, Season 2.
That somehow endangered property values 3 miles away.
One of the Chapter 1 seasons. It's rare to find an Omega original. You agree?
My counterintelligence operation was comprehensive. Sarah Chen, my PI, traced.
I just can't believe that. That was a no fair fight when you say it.
And metadata. The environmental lawyer conducted surprise water.
I was trying to pop my chug drug, and then they just come running in after I just only got like a little bit healed.
Showed Linda's network of fake accounts and coordinated harassment campaigns. But the most satisfying development was watching her lose control of the narrative.
2 duos.
I quietly informed the bank about Linda's harassment campaign affecting the.
I'm gonna land here.
My land that she needed.
This was a not bad spot. You agree?
The environmental lawyer filed formal complaints about Linda's creek contamination. The state real estate.
Me and you can usually get looted up as fast as we can.
Representation violations. The sound of tree branches cracking echoed across the valley, where Linda's hired security team had accidentally damaged my property while patrolling. The acrid scent of damaged solar panel electronics mixed with pine sap when I surveyed the sabotage. Each incident just added to the evidence file that would eventually bury her. Linda's increasingly haggard appearance during our confrontations told the whole story. Designer clothes that looked slept in, makeup applied with a shaking hand. The white Escalade now had a dent in the front bumper from her increasingly reckless driving.
Crypto, and so 2 cryptos down in the center, doing a maximum amount damage to him. Damage. Headshot. Thank you, Crypto. Oh, you won. Crypto's always the best to get when you're doing this.
Find some legal loophole that didn't exist. What she didn't know was that every threat, every bribe, every act of sabotage was just adding fuel to a fire that would soon consume the entire operation. The trap was nearly ready to spring. Linda's final desperate...
Not again! Two stream snipers! Come on, leave me alone!
My grandfather sold development rights in 1987 to 24 years after his original purchase. A fake environmental impact study claiming my septic system was contaminating groundwater across the country.
Get out of here! If you want to stream snipe, be at least a better player.
Threatened him with violence during an investigation that never happened. Forgery unraveled faster than a cheat.
Come on! I just wanted to kill one boss.
Started laughing. Close to your grandfather.
I'm dead.
Whoever did this has never seen him.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were still alive. I swear, I can't get enough.
Notary who died in 1985,
you agree, Super?
2 years before the document was allegedly signed. Professional paper.
I was just trying to kill the monolith so I can grab me a couple good guns. And then I was gonna go kill.
Paper, Linda had literally tried to forge history.
I just got fresh healed. And there's another.
The impact study
that's my favorite shotgun.
Valley, 200 miles away.
It does not know how to use it.
Meanwhile, professional lab tests.
How you doing over there, Super?
My water was cleaner than the municipal supply in 3 surrounding towns.
Okay, I'm right on Poppin' Hills, and then I'm gonna go into the location to my side.
She brought a professional witness who claimed to have seen me threaten her.
I've already killed like most players, and there's another one over here.
Couldn't pick me out of a 2-person.
Go ahead. Nice wasting your money on Kakashi. Not a bad skin, but you gotta be skilled to use it.
The judge, clearly annoyed by the waste of court time, dismissed the
I just killed Kakashi Sensei.
My legal fees. Ms. Whitmore, Judge Wells said, her voice carrying the authority of someone who'd seen every scam in the book.
Someone
This
is
is your
rebooted.
final warning about frivolous litigation. Next time there will be sanctions. But the real victory was watching Linda's smear campaign backfire spectacularly. The local newspaper investigated her claims and discovered her pattern of false accusations against multiple property owners. Environmental groups rallied around my conservation efforts, seeing Linda's harassment as an attack on world human rights. Social media against her as evidence of her fraud spread. Screenshots of her fake environmental study circulated.
I might not just grabbing all the ammo I can find for my guns, so I can have a full stack.
Exposed and banned. Even her supporters in the development started distancing themselves. And Linda's financial collapse accelerated afterwards. The bank called her construction loan due immediately after discovering her forged collateral documents. The IRS placed liens on her properties for $180,000. 0 cents in unpaid taxes.
You heading over there?
The state license was formally suspended
the hero box
investigation. My preparation for the end game was methodical and comprehensive.
Okay.
Documentary filmmaker Ashley Kim,
That's a
David's
blue
sister,
shotgun.
arrived from Seattle to film the final confrontation. Marcus prepared a presentation.
Oh no, they didn't get wiped out by that. They got wiped out by me. I killed it before they got it.
Organized to attend
I took all the loot too. So they was trying to be loot thieves.
Veteran buddies, men who dealt with corporate land grabs and
They almost killed me.
reached their entire lives. Seen this playbook before, he said, weather hands steady as granite. Developers come in, try to intimidate.
Our location now.
And through legal tricks. Time someone stood up to them. Maria organized catering for a community meeting, ensuring maximum turnout. Food brings people together.
Can kill me, Banana? Oh wait, it's you again, the one I killed with his own shotgun.
Linda's about to learn what real community is. David Kidd coordinated with other development residents who've been overcharged.
He's running badly.
A class action case that
You wanna rush him or just leave him alone?
Linda's remaining credibility. Linda's last-ditch efforts.
Okay, let's go. He's in location.
Tried to cancel the HOA annual meeting, illegal under state law. She attempted to exclude me from voting.
You just can't let that banana live. I've already killed him once in my lobby, just kill him again.
A crowd of fake supporters to stack the audience, but they were so obviously out of place.
Wonder what he ran off to.
Attention to her decision.
Oh no, he's on your way.
Technical preparation reached military levels of precision. Professional surveyor created detailed maps showing my comprehensive land rights and living cost. Carlos, a forensic accountant, prepared a presentation of Linda's financial crimes that would make a federal prosecutor weep with joy.
Bro, actually do that
The
now.
Attorney General's office confirmed they were monitoring
Yeah, I
the
know.
situation.
He's hiding behind the rock.
The climax was perfect. Community center booked. Local news alerted to a major development story. Sheriff's deputies on standby for expected disruption. Linda had no idea her attempted empire was about to become a Washington. The sound of increasing desperation in Linda's voice during recorded phone calls told the whole story. Fear sweat penetrated her expensive perfume during our final chance encounter at the post office. The weight of grandfather's original deed documents in my briefcase felt like justice itself. When someone starts forging documents that are claiming they know their legal position is hopeless, I told the documentary camera.
What?
Pre-meeting interview. Document fraud is a felony, even in civil disputes. The evening before the showdown, I stood on my cabin porch watching the sun set over the valley Linda had tried to steal. Tomorrow,
what happened?
Harassment, lies, and fraud would finally face the light of truth. The Clearwater Community Center had never seen anything like it.
You know what happened, Super?
Residents packed into a space designed for 100. The air thick with tension and anticipation. The evening news crew set up in the back corner, cameras rolling. Ashley Kim positioned herself strategically with her documentary equipment. Sheriff's deputies flanked the exits, expecting trouble. Linda's faction huddled near the front.
The car was not that low when I was shooting it.
A handful of fake supporters who kept checking their...
And how did I get dropped down to 17 HP?
And a security guard who looked increasingly uncomfortable as the room filled with angry locals. My community filled the rest of the space.
Max, stay off. No, that's Fuzzy. Fuzzy, stay off the PlayStation.
Set in grim determination. Maria with her extended
one more time you get on that PlayStation, you're going to coach for at least 15 minutes. You've been on that PlayStation 10 times already.
The energy in the room was electric.
You know you're not supposed to be up there. That's a bad spot.
Linda called the meeting to order, her voice pitched higher than usual, hands trembling slightly as she shuffled her presentation materials.
Oh, stop the controller.
On the Phase 2
you ready for this round?
Prosperity and progress to Clearwater Estates. Her PowerPoint was all...
I'm getting unlucky every time.
Promises. Artist renderings of mansions nestled among clear-cut hills. Economic projections that assumed infinite growth. And at the center of it all, my grandfather's...
I'm my regular style.
Future development parcel A. This illegal cabin, Linda said, pointing at a photo of my home.
There's a monolith right here I could go grab, but...
From reaching its full potential. The HOA board recommends immediate eminent domain proceedings. That's when I stood up. Point of order. I'd like to address the assembly. Linda's face flushed red. You have no standing here. This is a private HOA meeting.
Cat, my shoulder's off limits. This claw's hurt when you dig into my shoulder socket.
Mineral rights documentation?
The plate.
The room erupted. Linda tried to refuse. Her lawyer whispered advice in her ear, but Deputy Johnson enforced meeting procedures. Let him speak, ma'am. This is still America. Let him speak! Let him speak! The chant started with Pete's veterans and spread through the entire room until Linda had no choice but to step aside. I connected my laptop to the projection system and displayed grandfather's original 1963
They are, I can project them down.
Ladies and gentlemen, Linda's been trying to steal land she never had any right to touch. The revelation hit us to the photos. I explained mineral rights, water rights, development restrictions, the comprehensive legal framework approving veto power, any development affecting the watershed. This woman has spent 3 months harassing me for land. I not only own, but that she needs my permission to develop around it. Linda's desperation exploded. Those documents are fake. She's a squatter and an environmental terrorist who's been threatening me for months. I clicked on the slide. Let's talk about weapons. The evidence avalanche began. Marcus presented court-certified deed documentation. Carlos revealed Linda's embezzlement of HOA funds, her double mortgaged properties, her unpaid taxes. The environmental lawyer showed photos of Linda's illegal creek contamination alongside lab results proving my water was cleaner than municipal supplies. But it was the community that delivered the real knockout punches. Old Pete stood up, his voice carrying the authority of 8 decades. Linda tried to cheat me out of my grandfather's land too, offered half what it's worth, threatened eminent domain when I refused. Maria was next. She's been using HOA money to pay her personal lawyers. 30 years I've been feeding this community, and she wanted to destroy my diner for a parking lot. David Kim's revelation stunned even me. She overcharged me $50,000 for my lot and called it a premium location fee. Pure theft. Then came the mic drop moment. A man in a dark suit stood up from the back of the room. Whitmore, I'm Robert Chin from First National Bank. The construction loan is in default and we're calling it due immediately. The room went dead silent.
No!
Gentlemen owned the mineral rights under your entire development.
Ah, personally, all that.
Virtually impossible. Linda's meltdown was spectacular. She screamed
What, you
about
on your mountain?
conspiracies and unfair treatment.
I could not play today.
And in her rage, accidentally admitted to forging the 1980
I'm already dead.
documents. Those papers were perfect. You can't prove they're fake. Deputy Johnson stepped forward, notepad ready. Ma'am, did you just admit to document fraud on camera? The community vote was swift and merciless. Phase 2 expansion rejected 87% to 13%, vote of no confidence for Linda as president, unanimously. Resolution supporting my constitution.
I'm already dead, so it's just gonna be,
As Linda was escorted out, still screaming threats and promises of revenge, I addressed the stunned audience. Linda, you just threatened me in front of 150 witnesses and 3 cameras. I think you're done. The gasps from the audience, the sight of Linda's face cycling through rage and terror, the smell of tension sweat in the overheated room, it was the sound and smell of justice finally arriving.
You gonna try and go rescue me?
Linda Whitmore was arrested for document fraud and embezzlement. The sight of her in handcuffs on the evening news felt like the final chapter of a story that had consumed my life for 3 months. Her properties entered foreclosure proceedings. Her real estate license was permanently revoked. The woman who tried to steal my family's legacy was facing 5 to 10 years in federal prison. The legal resolution came swiftly. My quiet title action confirmed comprehensive land rights across the entire valley. Environmental violations resulted in a $500,000 0-cent fine.
You want to just buy me back here?
Money that would fund watershed restoration for decades. The HOA dissolved Linda's development company contract and elected new.
I'll just go right over to a monolith and go kill it like I usually do.
The real transformation was personal. I planned to live
Let me just kill that monolith to our side for more guns.
Instead, I decided to stay permanently.
I'll head for it.
Just my inheritance.
Thank you, Super.
My calling.
Wait, how you got 3,500 gold?
Protecting 1,800 acres of the most sensitive watershed areas. 3 neighboring families joined.
You get 3,500 gold.
That would prevent future Linda Whitmores from destroying what took nature centuries to build.
I got like 1,700 because of these guys I keep on killing. Hell yeah, killing these guys with a pistol is pretty easy now.
We established the Clearwater Valley Scholarship Fund using Linda's forfeited deposits, sending 3 local kids.
You know what you're doing, you do as much damage.
The Conservation Trust protects the watershed for future generations while allowing sustainable forestry and responsible development.
How'd you die? I haven't even gotten any guns yet.
Last year, we had over 500 visitors supporting.
Where'd they come from on you?
Old Keith, property value was more than 40% due to conservation protection, securing his retirement after decades of hard work. Maria's Diner became the unofficial.
I don't got the monolith's dead. Okay. Zombie gloves.
Not only recouped his overcharges due to class action lawsuit,
And the police
he was my closest friend, and the conservation.
I don't care about you. And they just gonna shoot them,
communities contacted me about similar developer schemes, leading to a statewide
got
network
no
of
ammo?
rural landowner advocates. Ashley's documentary won the Regional Film Festival and raised national awareness about corporate land grabs in rural America. The state legislature introduced the Linda Law, preventing HOA conflict of interest abuse, real systemic change born from our local fight. Financial justice came full circle. Linda's seized assets partially reimbursed fraud victims.
Yeah, I see it.
Restore trust in the system. I purchased her foreclosed properties at auction, adding them to the conservation easement and ensuring they'd never threaten the valley again.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Submitting inadequate due diligence and implementing stricter oversight procedures. The bigger picture impact still amazes me. Local
Wow!
exposed similar schemes across rural America, creating a playbook for fighting corporate harassment.
I thought they had sandwiched me, don't you say?
As a template for landowner rights
Super.
education. The real estate industry implemented stronger conflict of interest oversight because of what happened.
One was waiting on the end of the zip
The
line.
best part is the sounds that fill the valley now. Laughter of children at the harvest festival instead of Linda's courtroom threats. Wood smoke from community bonfires.
It's like the best one I can go for to get you back.
Needles underfoot. Birds
So I
song,
couldn't get you back by your stuff.
trees, instead of legal arguments and construction noise.
Sure.
Sitting on my cabin porch at sunset, watching the valley vista unmarred by McMansions, I finally understood what Grandpa meant about stewardship. This
I don't got
wasn't just
my
about
movement
property
pistols
ownership.
yet.
It was about protecting something irreplaceable for people not yet born. Always research who's really behind development pressure. Financial desperation drives most harassment.
I got Monolith nearby too I could go for.
Mineral rights are
That's
often
in
more
Storm I
valuable
can
than
kill.
service rights. Check your
I might go
family
go in Storm real quick and kill that Monolith.
HOA board members must disclose conflicts of interest.
That's fine with
It's
you.
the law in most states, even if they pretend it isn't. But Linda's arrest revealed she was small fish in a bigger pond. Her investigation led to a network of corrupt developers across 3 states. Next week, I'm telling you about how this network tried to steal an entire mountain range, and how we stopped them. Drop a comment with your worst HOA or property dispute story. I read every single one and respond when I can. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more stories about standing up to corrupt authority.
I need those
Join our
Vedness
Facebook
grenades.
group, Landowner
Throw it down
Rights
like kills
Warriors,
Monoliths.
legal resources and support.
I can use Vedness grenades to help me kill a Monolith.
Corporate bullying.
So I'm going to slow this down. I'm about to go out down.
They made a
but
critical
nothing
mistake when they
about
decided
you.
to mess with me. The morning I looked most powerless.
Oh, I got shotgun on.
Watching Big Squad
You got
was
AR.
actually the moment I was
Send me.
unstoppable.
1, 2.
Thornfield thought she would
One
finally
bullet and
open the
bam.
double range
Yeah, that.
$2,400 0 cents
2,
paid time
3.
for
You good?
the city inspection. But this HOA president didn't know I'm a retired Army Corps engineer who spent 20 years solving impossible problems. While she was playing numerous games, I was quietly building a case that would cost her everything. Her freedom, her stolen $180,000 0 cents, and her precious wife. Here's the deal.
I'm gonna go kill him with my shotgun before I do anything.
Never even in her HOA. Granddad's land predates their subdivision by
Trying to wait outside
34
Storm on me.
What would you do if someone tried to steal
Yeah.
your family's legacy with fraudulent
Perfect.
paperwork? Drop your reaction below.
I do a lot
and
more
bet
damage with
half of you
this.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
Range is more
What
better.
happens next when you
Just do all the damage we can.
My name's Jake.
You good over there?
I'm 42, and after 20 years in the Army Corps of Engineers, all I wanted was to peace and quiet on the land my grandfather left. This isn't some suburban lot. We're talking about a 47-acre working ranch in unincorporated Williamson County, Texas, complete with rolling hills, century-old live oaks, and limestone fence posts my grandfather
Medkit.
built by hand back in
I need medkit real
1950.
quick.
Every morning I'd wake up to the sound of meadowlarks calling across the pasture, the distant lowing of my neighbor's cattle mixing
Get
with the
over
scent
where
of
you're at.
cedar posts and morning dew on native grass. I'd run my hand along those smooth oak gate latches Granddad installed.
I'm right now moving out
Rough
after killing the
textured
boss.
limestone he quarried himself.
How much are on you?
This place had
I can
soul,
come join
you
in
know,
the fight.
something you can't buy in a subdivision. After a messy divorce and 2 decades of military precision, I was finally ready
Battle
to slow
phase.
down. I'd started a small
Battle
excavation and
phase.
land clearing business. Nothing fancy, just me and some equipment helping neighbors with ponds and driveways. Honest work that paid the bills and kept me outdoors. That's when I met Patricia Patty Thornfield. Picture this. 58
Okay! That is aimbot!
costs more than my monthly
I just got completely cracked in no
Driving a
matter
white Lexus
seconds.
SUV that she keeps so clean, you could perform surgery.
Got him with a sniper.
Patty moved here from California about 5 years ago with her husband, some mid-level
Is that the whole team?
and appointed herself the neighborhood's aesthetic police chief.
Okay, now let's loot their bodies up for more
HOA
ammo.
president of Sunset Ridge.
Try to loot up all the ammo you can get. I used up last of my med kits.
My property line. For 8 years
Yeah,
running, she'd been elected unopposed, mostly because nobody else wanted to.
Jeez,
deal
how
with
much
the
are gonna
headache.
have on us? We just exit. I just
She
exit my
lived for this
storm.
stuff. She had a reputation for targeting what she called undesirable.
I like the sound of pulling these out
And
though.
if you read between
Swinging
the
with the
lines,
guns.
you'd notice those
Is that a?
properties
I already got
usually
one of
belonged to
those.
folks who didn't look like
I'm
the
reload
country
that.
club crowd.
What kind of color is your kill
Shots
streak
fired at what would
pistols?
become World War III landed on my gate on Thursday morning in March. I'm talking about
Super.
an official-looking citation printed on fancy letters.
What color is your kill streak
Violation
pistols?
of CCNR 4.73. unsightly agricultural
One more
equipment.
sound booster gloves.
Attached were colored photographs of my grandfather's 1960s.
Oh, they're epic. Okay, I have epic as well.
A machine that still ran like a Swiss watch and had more
Well, you're not gonna need them anymore. Let's head for this chest.
$150.00.
Oh, you got you a radar?
0 cents per day until the violation was corrected. The contact information led straight to Patricia Thornfield, architectural.
Oh, there's a chest here.
compliance
I can just
officer.
blast them all once.
Now I'm a reasonable man. My first instinct
Hey,
wasn't to
want to
go
get these
nuclear,
Raven
it was to
gauntlets?
pick up the phone and politely explain the situation.
They shoot ravens in a cone shape.
She answered.
Okay, let's
I think
continue
there's
moving
been
then.
some kind of mistake here.
I'm in battle phase right now. I better switch back.
Is thinking you can run a junkyard
Switch back
next to
real
our
quick.
community. Before I could explain that I wasn't part of her community.
Okay, I'm gonna continue heading this way until I get to a fight. I won't
That's when I
switch.
knew I wasn't dealing with someone interested in
I'll meet you over here, okay?
A week later, citation number 2 arrived. Violation of CC&R 2.11 by the Salal Lab. The photograph showed my 3 horses, Ranger, Belle, and Dakota, grazing peacefully in a pasture where horses had grazed for 70 years. The fine jumped to $300.
I need to check something. What is my
This time there was
offense
a
right
threat.
now?
Legal action and law enforcement involvement will follow continued non-compliance. I sat there on my porch, holding that citation while the evening breeze carried the scent of honeysuckle and the sound of whippoorwills starting their nightly chorus. This woman
found
was
another
essentially
piece
declaring
here
war
of,
on everything my family
gold
had
pistols.
built here. The problem was,
We'll
Patty
go Crime
Thornfield
City.
had no idea who she was messing with. She saw an isolated rancher she could bully into submission. What she
Hey, wanna
didn't
use your
do was
radar
with
when you
2
get in here so we
decades
can
of
check?
military problem-solving training, an engineering degree, and
Can we get a
absolutely
radar
zero
scan?
tolerance for petty tyrants. Time to educate Mrs.
Wow,
Thornfield
there
about
is
the
completely
difference
no
between
one.
authority and power. But Patty wasn't done. Oh no, she
Here,
was
come here,
just getting
Super.
warmed up.
Drink this.
Citation number 3 arrived on a Monday. Violation
Think you need
of
some shields.
CC&R 8.4 to unsightly structures. This time, she photographed my grandfather's hand-built barn from 1954, a structure that had weathered 7 decades of Texas storms and still stood straighter than most of the McMansions in her subdivision. Then came citation 4, violation of CC&R 5.177, improper signage. My crime, a modest wooden sign at my gate that read Morrison Lane Clearing, licensed and insured in simple black letters. The same sign that
I like
had been
spinning
there
the
for 3 years
pistols.
without a single complaint. I started noticing that white Lexus cruising past my property every morning around 7 a.m. and every evening around 6 p.m. She wasn't even trying to be subtle about it. Windows down, phone in hand, taking pictures like some kind of suburban paparazzi. One morning I caught her actually measuring my fence line with a tape measure. Wearing designer jeans and
Can I teach you guys a lesson?
probably cost more than my monthly truck payment. That's when I decided it was time to do what I
Pump
should have
action.
done from the beginning. Actual research. The next morning, I drove
Sorry.
down to the Williamson County Clerk's office and pulled every property record, survey map, and deed going back to 1950.
I have been finding a lot of these missed
And this is
gauntlets.
something every property owner needs to know. You can't retroactively
Here, come here,
approve
Super.
property in an HOA, period. The law is
Here,
crystal
drink this.
clear on this. My land was deeded to my grandfather in 1950.
I want you to be full shield.
The Sunset Ridge HOA was formed in 1987, 35 years later. According to the original HOA plat maps, my property was
Much for the house.
specifically excluded from their boundaries. In legal terms, Patty
I'm
had
destroying
about as much
houses on the
authority
way.
over my land as she did over the moon. Armed with a manila folder
So I can
full
pick
of
up the ammo.
documentation, I called Mrs. Thornfield again.
Get in the mountain.
This time, I was ready. Mrs.
See people?
Thornfield, this is Jake Morris. I have the original survey.
Do I need to get in battle
right here
phase?
from the county clerk.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I think
need
we
to.
need to clear up this misunderstanding. I don't care what your little papers say, she interrupted. This neighborhood has standards, and you're bringing down everyone's property values with that eyesore of a property. Ma'am, with all due respect, I'm not in your neighborhood, I'm not in your HOA. My property predates your development by 3 decades. We'll see about that, she snapped. The woman had the social skills of a cactus, but I have to admit, she was persistent. The next morning, I discovered just how persistent. Walking up to feed the horses, I noticed fresh survey stakes driven into my property, bright orange plastic markers with red ribbon tied to them. Someone had spray-painted red marks on my oak trees, marking what appeared to be a new boundary line that conveniently included about 5 acres of my land within the HOA territory. I followed the trail of stakes and paint, and it was like following breadcrumbs through a fairy tale, except this fairy tale involved property theft and a woman who clearly thought she could redraw county boundary lines with a can of Krylon. The metallic ping of those survey stakes being driven still echoed in my head. The smell of fresh spray paint mixed with the morning air created this surreal contrast. Industrial chemicals marking up God's country. Those smooth metal stakes felt cold and foreign against the rough bark of trees that had been growing since before I was born. Here's the mini twist that changed everything. I had security cameras. See, after my divorce, I'd installed a basic security system. Nothing fancy, just enough
I can run now.
And make sure nobody was messing with the horses. Those cameras caught everything.
Actually, there's a car over here.
5:47 a.m. Patty stepping out with a hammer and a bag of survey stakes.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to reboot now. I'm out of running gloves too.
I pulled those stakes up and stored them in my workshop. Every single one, but I left the spray paint marks on the trees. I wanted to see how far she'd push this. Turns out, pretty far. 2 days later, my phone rang. Mr. Morrison, this is Deputy Rodriguez with the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. We've received a complaint about destruction of official survey markers on HOA property. I need to come out and talk to you. And that, folks, is how Patty Thornfield made her first major tactical error. She just filed a false police report claiming I destroyed official survey markers that she'd illegally placed on my property. The hunter was about to become the hunted. She had no idea what she was expecting. When Deputy Rodriguez pulled up my driveway 30 minutes later, I was ready. Not ready to fight, ready to educate.
Song's my zone.
And it's a difference that would save my bacon and cost Patty dearly. Mr. Morrison, the deputy said, stepping out of his patrol car. We've received a complaint about destruction of HOA property. Something about survey markers? Deputy, I appreciate you coming out here, I said, but before we go any further, I think you need to understand the legal situation.
I had more med kits.
I handed him my manila folder, the same one I tried to show Patty. Property records, original survey maps, deed documentation going back 7 years. Deputy Rodriguez was a professional.
I had like a no fair chance. I couldn't go for a reboot either because they straightly drove up on me.
According to these documents, your property was never part
I was trying to pop my med kit, couldn't even do that.
Correct. And the survey
you agree, Super?
Mrs. Thornfield claims I destroyed, they're in my workshop. She placed them on my property without permission at 5.
You wanna go some creative?
Last Tuesday. I've got it all on security camera. Now here's something everyone needs to know. Filing false police reports
I'll return to lobby.
Texas, punishable by up to 180 days in jail and a $2,000 0 cents fine. Deputy Rodriguez explained this to me as we walked to my workshop to examine the evidence. These aren't official survey
I'm gonna go back to playing COD now.
handling the orange plastic markers. These are the kind you buy at home.